how's it going? My name is Megan and we are here for a wrap-up video. So today I am wrapping up April and May. I did a decent amount of reading for each month, 3 books for April and 5 books I want to say for May. But April was just like kind of busy and crazy. That was the end of my semester and I had a bit of a break and I had just worked myself into a burnout, so I wanted to take a massive break and just relax. And May has just kind of been getting back into the groove, so that's why I haven't filmed in a while, like a proper video. But we're here, we're doing it. Also, if you noticed, I have a different background. So I now have a second bookcase up here. This one is from IKEA. This one is from Zellers. And the difference is that this one is shallower than this one, which kind of bugs me just a little bit, like just like the smallest bit. But I'm not going to do anything about it right now until I move out and I have the time and the money and the space to just deal with it. It's not that big of an issue, but yeah. We're just gonna ignore that and just accept the fact that I have another place to put my books. It's gonna be great. Anyway, let's get into the wrap up. So the first book that I read in May, or in April, was Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I loved this book. I did a review on it, so I will link that for you guys. And I just really loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the setting, I loved the development. There were a couple things that kind of like bothered me a bit, but nothing super crazy. But yeah, basically this is just a YA fantasy of a group of people who had their powers taken from them and trying to get that power back, their ability to use their magic back, and fight back and, you know, get rid of the people that oppress them, or I guess fight the people that oppress them. And yeah, it's just really cool, the concepts that are involved and just the dynamics and everything. It's just so cool. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars. Also, like, so the cover is really pretty, and look at the actual like cover of the book. It is so pretty. All of this going on in here. The map inside in those end pages. Dang. It is beautiful. I love me a good map. Love it. Design also gets 5 out of 5 stars. Also, for those of you who may not have known, Children of Blood and Bone is based on West African mythology, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe it is West African. So it's really cool, a nice departure from typical fantasy tropes and mythologies and whatnot. The second book that I read in April was not a book, actually. It is a collection of, wait for it, poems. Oh my god. Anyone who knows me is like, what? Megan, you hate poetry. What are you doing? I know. I really try to avoid reading poetry. In high school and university, I hated analyzing it so much. I just couldn't wrap my mind around all of the different like meters and forms, and every word had to have some kind of meaning, and it like, oh man. I remember in university, you have to like pick different courses that fall in different categories in the English department, and one of them was a poetry class, and I was like, I will do anything to avoid taking this class, so I did not take it. But oh my god, yeah, high school and university kind of ruined me for poetry. But I am getting more into like the Instagram poets and kind of more modern poetry, so I had to pick up this book, and it is The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. And oh my god, can we talk about the back? Yeah. This is probably the sassiest book I've ever read. It is great. I find that it really embodies, I think in my mind, the feminist movement that is currently happening, and basically just a whole collection of poems that can cover like anyone's experience. There are some things that have happened in here that I have not experienced, but I think as a whole it speaks to a collective group rather than like a specific individual kind of experience. So I liked that. And yeah, I just feel like it is there for the feminists, and it's a great collection. I love it. I'm definitely going to try to get more into poetry. I have a friend that actually wrote a book of poetry, so I think I might buy that from her. Support your local poets. And yeah, just really try to get more into it and expand my horizons. So I give this collection 5 out of 5 stars. Also, I should mention, there are a ton of trigger warnings that are attached to that poetry collection. There is rape, there's abuse, there's eating disorders, there's a ton, so just be aware of that. There are the trigger warnings listed inside as well, so if you do happen to pick it up or at least see it in a bookstore, you can see what the warnings are and if that affects you or if you're still willing to read it after that. And the last book that I read in April was The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. So let's talk about this book for a second. I maybe did myself a disservice and I was like creepy on Goodreads being like, you know, when is the next book technically supposed to come out? And I was just looking at pub days and I hadn't really thought about it for a while, but Name of the Wind came out in 2007 and this book was published 2011, and I think I kind of ruined it for myself because I watched a video that someone posted, well, someone commented about this video, and it was a video that Patrick Rothfuss had posted on his YouTube account, and it was about why he wasn't publishing the book. I think I've talked about this in a video before, and it just like ruined the whole experience. I did not like what he said in that video, and I think just the way that this whole situation has played out as if taking advantage of his audience's trust. I really did not like that, and yeah, so that kind of ruined it because I was in the middle of reading this book when it happened. And I think that kind of ruined the experience. But also I really noticed that Quoth is just like kind of a dick. He's super selfish, super self-absorbed. He is so like, there is no character development at all, I find. He just kind of remains the same, and I just did not like that. I noticed there is like a super cool female kind of civilization, like a matriarchy that happens, and it's really cool to see him go there and kind of experience this totally alien culture, and it's like a really cool learning experience, I would think. And then Quoth is basically like, you see like all these women and they just think they're better than everyone because, you know, their civilization is civilized, and anyone that doesn't like belong to that civilization is barbaric. And then there's just like little things like that. And then the thing that really is the kicker is the fact that Quoth, well, Patrick Rothfuss, makes the women believe that men aren't a part of the like pregnancy process, and it's like all just like women that do that. And he just like puts in this like really stupid, trivial thing that just makes the women seem so incredibly like foolish and dumb. And so he just takes this like really cool civilization that could be like amazing, that could have been written so great, and Patrick Rothfuss just kind of makes them out as people that look down their noses at everyone else and are actually like really stupid. And it just, oh man, it just, I was reading it and I was like, are you kidding me? I got to that point and I was like, it's great, that's great. So I did not like that. And yeah, just like the fact that there's no character development at all with Quoth, there's no character development with Denna, and it just, I'm not happy with the way it went. So I only gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I did still kind of enjoy it, and I do, whenever he gets around to publishing the last book, I do want to read it because, you know, I have to know what happens. But yeah, I feel like when we ended this book, we were still kind of near, like he was still in university, and when you read the beginning of the very first book, it talks about how Quoth was like this legendary character that got kicked out of university so young, and I'm like, we're in the second book and you're still here. So either in the third book everything is going to happen, or it's all gonna happen like within like the last 2 pages. Like, yeah. So I'm not sure how that's gonna turn out, but we'll see. We'll see. So the next book that I read was in May, and I wanted something a little bit happier, a little bit lighthearted, and not as intense. Something that wasn't gonna make me mad. So the book that I read is The Little Book of Witchcraft, which is just so cute. I definitely read this in one reading. It was just, you know, like super short and like cute, and I just wanted to read it because I thought it would be just something fun and adorable. And it is. This book is so cute. It provides some really great information if you're getting into witchcraft. I highly recommend it. It's like a great beginner kind of basic book, and yeah, I like the there are some illustrations that happen just to like kind of tell you what's going on. I like how it tells you about how to prepare your altar and different like spells and rituals and stuff, and I really liked it because there are some books that I read when I first got into witchcraft that just did not have that basic information. It just kind of expected you to already have that knowledge or have another text that had that knowledge, and I didn't. So I think having this book is just a really nice little addition to that collection of books. And yeah, it's just super fun. I gave it 4 out of 4 stars, or 4 out of 5 stars, because yeah, it was just like something fun and not silly, but kind of lighthearted and just a nice read to after that last one, and just like really informative. Following along with those lighthearted vibes that I was going with in May, I have Flying Witch number 2. So this is the manga. As you see, I just love this series so much. I watched the anime and I just really liked it, so I wanted to read the manga and just immerse myself in the world some more. And just super cute, super like great everyday kind of slice of life sort of thing, very cutesy, very like magic in the everyday kind of thing, and I just really love it so much. I also love the illustrations. They're just so different from anything that I've seen, and the cover of the book itself is like a matte, but it's not like that like sticky matte kind of thing. It's just like a smooth matte, and it's just so cute, and I feel like it adds to the whole story. Like just the style of cover or type of cover material is like totally goes with the story and like adds to it. So I just think that's weird, but I think it works. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars as well. Just like something super fun, lighthearted, great entertaining read, and just something to pass the time. The next book that I read was a little bit more intense than that. We kind of stopped the lighthearted vibes there. So I read Burning Maze by Rick Riordan, and this is the 3rd book in Trials of Apollo. Oh my god, you guys. This book, I don't want to spoil anything, but it was just such an emotional roller coaster. It was just so intense, and I felt like Rick just kind of went to different places that you didn't expect him to. And yeah, the ending kind of ruined me a bit. I was talking to my one friend and we were like, maybe he could have gone a little bit further with certain things, but I just think like he did something that you don't normally expect an author to do. He's just so cute and I just loved it, and it was just a great read. It was so different, and I feel like for a middle grade book, it's really good, I think, to introduce younger kids to those kinds of themes, some of the darker themes, because just because kids are younger doesn't mean they don't experience death, grief, loss, anything like that, and to think that they don't is really naive. So I think having that in books is a really great way to introduce that to them and kind of show that it happens and, you know, you can get through it. So I really, really liked this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I'm just kind of waiting for the rest of all of his series, basically. So the next book that I read is The Hobbit by J.K. Rowling? J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh my goodness. I am rereading the entire series, so I'm obviously reread The Hobbit. I'm currently reading Fellowship of the Ring, and I want to eventually get to Beren and Luthien and Story of Clervo and lots of other Tolkien books. But yeah, I just wanted to reread this, and I just thought it was so great. I hadn't reread it since watching the movies, and I was already pretty salty about the movies, just the way they were done and what happened, and I was not a fan. But after reading this book, I was just like remembering what happened in the movies, and I was like, this isn't supposed to happen, this isn't supposed to happen. Why did they like cut this from the movies, and why did they do this differently? And yeah, I was very, very mad, and I know you're supposed to separate them. They're two different mediums, but it's hard when you love it so much. But yeah, I feel like I actually love this book more. I think this is my second or third time reading it, but I feel like I love the book more now. I don't know why, I just loved it. I love Bilbo, I love the dwarves, I love everyone, Gandalf. They just all work so well, and I just like how sassy Bilbo is in here. I feel like I can appreciate it more. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Great book. And the last book that I read in May was Devil's a Part-Timer, book 9. And this one was fun. There was some stuff that happened, and I was just getting to the point where I was like, really? 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 So yeah, I don't know. I still enjoy the series, but I feel like I'm kind of getting over it a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to spoil anything because, I mean, this is the 9th book. But yeah, it's going. It's happening. And we'll see what happens in the next few books. I'm not sure how they're going to wrap this series up. They just keep introducing stuff, and I'm like, you know, that's great, but I don't want to have 60 books of this, which is what can happen with manga and light novels. They can just kind of go on forever. Like if you've seen Naruto or Fairy Tail or anything like that, they're like 60 book series, and I just don't have the money or the space for that. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but not as good as some of the other ones, I feel like. Anyway, that was everything. I'm pretty happy with how many books I read in May, actually. As I said, I am currently reading Fellowship of the Ring, and I'm almost done that, and then I will finish the whole Lord of the Rings series. And yeah, that will probably take me a month, but it'll be cool. I'll only have 1 read for June. Technically 3. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you guys had a great couple reading months and continue to have some good reading months, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!